G'day YouTube viewer, g'day bikers. I've decided it's time to take this, the lightest, lowest powered, road legal dual sport you can buy in Australia, to some tracks and trails that are more challenging than I've done so far. The reason I bought this bike was to go places I can't on my DR650, and while it was running in and everything else, I was more interested in making sure I did that properly. And I still need to put some bark busters and a bash plate on this bike to protect it from rocks and sticks and branches when I take it off the beaten track. Now, having said all that, my Suzuki DR650 can do some amazing things. I can get very remote with it and take it on far more adventurous sections of undulating terrain than I can my V-Strom 1050 XT, for example. But as I get older, one of the things I want to do is have a bike I can ride more easily in difficult situations, and that I can pick up without too much fuss whenever I come to grief. So I've been looking for some tracks and trails to test out how good it's going to be for that. Now, on the way to this trail today, which was something I saw on a recent ride, I did have to do some tarmac and some fast dirt roads, and obviously, which is what I was expecting anyway, it is nowhere near as good as that as the Suzuki DR650. On open sealed roads, it does suffer in headwinds and on inclines, and it doesn't have much power if you're trying to overtake anyone. Then when you hit the fast dirt road sections, I don't feel as confident in going at speeds like 80 or 100 or 110 kilometers an hour like I do on the DR650, which is a heavier bike and feels much more stable. And in saying that, that includes the way it slides around corners at speed, which you're able to do with great control. There is no ABS, no traction control, and it rides a lot more like the dirt bikes I grew up with. But the KLX230S, being much lighter, doesn't quite sit on gravel roads at higher speeds as well, so I don't feel as confident in going as fast as I would on the DR. But as soon as you get to tighter, more steep trails, the lower gearing and lightweight really come into their own. And in really steep, windy, challenging sections, I feel more confident on the KLX. And as soon as you get off trail into a single lane environment, that low first and second gear is much better for when you need to plod along or stop and start on a steep hill. Also on the way to this challenging section of trail today, which I'll show you very shortly, I saw many other bikes, including some KTMs, a DRZ4S, a CF Moto, as well as a number of others I didn't quite get close enough to identify. And it seemed like this perfect midwinter day, about 19 degrees, completely sunny, without any wind, was the perfect one for people to want to get out and about in the dirt, sand, gravel, and in my case, mud. I did find some muddy sections, and on the way to the most challenging section, I went past this spot that I saw the other day on the DR as well, that goes off the main road and descends very quickly with massive obstacles, and it looks a little bit like it may have been created for four-wheel drive challenges or something. I'm not sure what the nature of the track is, whether it takes you anywhere, whether it has been purpose-made, or whether it's an old track that just became too challenging and erosion has eaten away. If and when I do try to take that challenge on, I'll make sure I'm with someone else, with another rider at least, in case anything happens. Of course, in a YouTube video, these action cameras don't really show how steep and challenging things are sometimes, but I think looking down you can get a bit of an idea. I saw someone else ride past and shake their head when they saw it, so I knew it wasn't just me that was thinking it was probably a pretty big challenge, but one I really want to do, especially owning such a light, nimble bike.
No, it's not just in the Northern Territory you get big ant mounds like this. Wow.
Now, I have to say the track I did choose today did get a little bit more challenging than what I was expecting, which was a great test for this small green machine from Kawasaki. And it did make me realise I do need to fit that bash plate very soon, as well as some bark busters. Because at one stage I went over this big rock that just dropped off one side so fast that I was worried about the ground clearance and whether it would strike the bottom of the bike. but I have to say the KLX handled it brilliantly. I didn't feel like it was ever going to be out of control, and its lightweight, the narrow tyres, the flickability meant I could put it in any position I needed for whatever obstacle appeared next. So it really passed this first test with flying colours. The other thing I noticed, and I mentioned this a couple of times in the footage, was how firm the suspension is compared to the DR650 and bikes like the Honda CRF 300L. And that gave me great feeling about what was underfoot. I really got great feedback about the stability of the surface, which really helped with decision making about what to do in each situation. I could feel a lot more about the surface than I have on any other bike, which is saying something from someone who's been riding over 50 years, and with a lot of that history involved around riding on dirt roads and tracks and trails. And even when you're on a flat dirt section going fairly fast, if you suddenly see a rock near the front wheel, it gives you more ability to actually get around it rather than striking it. So all in all, I'm really impressed and glad I made the decision to buy this little bike. It's a lot of fun, and I had a great time out and about on it yesterday, even though I was probably riding the smallest, lowest powered, lightest weight bike of all those I saw. But I felt good because I was riding in some places the others weren't. Not to say they couldn't, but I was more willing to ride some of those more challenging sections, particularly the boggy, sandy areas. Being so light, I knew I could pick it up and get it out. In fact, sometimes in the garage where it's a tight space and I need to move this bike out for a ride, I just pick it up, lift it and turn around, even though it does have a good turning circle. So my summary of this ride is the little KLX230S, the lightest, smallest capacity, lowest powered dual sport available in Australia that you can ride legally on the road, was a great investment. And I'll enjoy riding it just as much as all my other bikes. There is one other dirt bike I would love to have, which is more about power and performance, along with a lightweight and good range, but that's the subject for a future video. In the meantime, I'm just going to get out and about and enjoy this one more, and just see how capable it can be.
Definitely feel the firmer suspension on this compared to the DR650. You feel really connected to the road, like you can feel every little bit about whether it's a nice firm surface or whether it's loose or whether it's sandy or gravelly. You can actually feel it all through the tyres, wheels and suspension. Where the DR sort of glides over things really easily, does like to slide, and it gives a great feeling with the way it slides. But this bike in a different way gives you a really good feeling. It gives you great certainty. Like this is a very sandy, looks like it's recently been graded, and you know exactly what you're doing and what the bike's doing more so.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world, and until next time, happy motorcycling.